Change News.
This is Voice of Change Radio News. I'm Amanda Kumalo. A quick look at the top stories. Multitudes welcome President Nyusi. In business news, President reassures development partners and creditors. In regional news, Defense Minister in Belarus for military exhibition. In sports, Hwange players robbed at knife point. The news in detail. Hundreds of people turned up at the Robert Gabriel Mugabe International Airport in Harare yesterday to welcome Mozambique President Nyusi, who arrived for a 3-day state visit to Zimbabwe. The visit follows constructive discussions and agreements reached by the two sister republics during the Zimbabwe-Mozambique Joint Permanent Commission on Cooperation JPCC held in November 2021 and subsequently the state visit to Mozambique by President Mnangagwa in April 2022. A business forum is scheduled to run on the margins of the state visit and will focus on deepening relations economically, socially, and politically between the two countries. Harare and Maputo have enjoyed cordial relations since the days of the liberation struggle. Several battles were fought on Mozambican soil as Maputo put the safety of its citizens in jeopardy or in an effort to help a neighbor that was under colonial subjugation. From then on, relations have continued to blossom between the two countries. Moving on. Overwhelmed sanitation, malfunctioning water pipes and public taps, and uncollected garbage in Mbare, with Harare City Council doing nothing to alleviate the serious health hazard, is seeing government starting to move to rescue residents. During a tour of new line houses in Mbare by Acting Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Dr. Daniel Garwe said the government would have to intervene in an area where Harare City Council was supposed to exercise its municipal powers and provide and run the services, upgrading the waste of colonial infrastructure. Government has moved swiftly to contain the spread of cholera, confirmed in parts of Sardik and seen in some western suburbs of Harare. Minister Garwe, who is substantive Minister of Housing and Social Amenities, said the government had intervened in fulfillment of the mantra of leaving no one and no place behind. Minister Garwe said President Mnangagwa was committed to ending the wars that would threaten human security in terms of health. He said the government was constructing houses countrywide to ensure that people living under harmful conditions are relocated to houses with better standards. We speak to Vision 2030. Moving on to business news. President Mnangagwa has reassured development partners and creditors that the government is committed to implementing key reforms that are critical to resolving the country's nearly $8.3 billion debts and arrears. He was speaking during the high-level debt resolution forum in Harare on Monday. The high-level debt forum was also addressed by African Development Bank AFDB President and official champion for Zimbabwe's arrears clearance and debt resolution program, Dr. Akinumi Adesina, and facilitator of the high-level dialogues and former Mozambique President Joaquim Chissano. It was attended by government officials, development partners, private sector, former farm owners, and civil society organizations. President Mnangagwa said in spite of the challenges associated with the debt overhang and further worsened by the albatross of the illegal economic sanctions, Zimbabwe is realizing key milestones towards moving the country forward for the good of the people. In a related development, Zimbabwe has combined forces with Mozambique to tackle regional energy deficits, which stand at over 35,000 megawatts, with the two countries paying particular focus on sharing surplus and developing new power sources. President Mnangagwa said yesterday, like a host of SADC nations, Zimbabwe has been saddled with power deficits that has been worsened by rapid industrialization, which is not made by power generation. To offset that deficit, the country is developing several power sources that include the Hwange Unit 7 and 8 that are expected to come on stream soon and add 600 megawatts to the national grid. Addressing journalists at State House in Harare last night, President Mnangagwa said the two countries have a mutually beneficial relationship that can only be further deepened through increased collaboration in various areas, not at least the energy sector. In news beyond our borders, Minister of Defense and War Veterans Affairs, Comrade Opamchunguri Kashiri, is on a 4-day state visit to Belarus, during which she will attend the 11th International Exhibition on Arms and Military Machinery, NILEX 2023, which started in the capital city, Minsk, from yesterday and is expected to end on Saturday. The exhibition is a platform in which companies that are involved in the development of defense technology will showcase their products. The exhibition is a platform in which companies that are involved in the development of defense technology which will showcase their products. It will also demonstrate the intellectual and industrial capabilities of the defense sector of the economy of the Republic of Belarus and other countries. In a statement, the Ministry of Defense and War Veterans Affairs said that the visit seeks to deepen bilateral ties between Harare and Minsk at diplomatic level. And finally, in sports news, 3 Hwange players, including the Kasolaga Premier Soccer League's second leading goal scorer, Brighton Makope, were robbed at knife point in Bulawayo on Tuesday morning. Makopa, together with fellow striker James Chivasa and defender Kelly Shiandindi, were traveling from Bulawayo to Hwange. They had dropped off in the City of Kings to visit their families on Monday after the team's goalless draw against Cape United at the National Sports Stadium the previous day. However, after boarding a Toyota Wish green color driven by a dreadlocked lady, the trio was stripped naked with all their belongings, including Hwange team kits, taken at knife point. Although the police could not comment yesterday, Hwange coach Nishan Dube confirmed that the 3 have since been taken for counseling sessions after the traumatizing incident. That brings us to the end of this bulletin.
Voice of Change News.